Hi, I'm going to read you a story called Clark the Shark, and it's written by Bruce Hale and illustrated by Guy Francis. In all the wide blue seas, in all the wide blue world, the top school for fish was Theodore Roosterfish Elementary. And of all the fish at Theodore Roosterfish, the biggest and the strongest was Clark the Shark. Clark loved school, and he loved his teacher, Mrs. Inkydink. He loved to play upsy-downsy and spin-a-majig with his friends. Clark loved his life. School is awesome, shouted Clark. Less shouting, more reading, said Mrs. Inkydink. And Yari is at lunchtime. Lunchtime is sweetest, yelled Clark the Shark. Munch your own lunch, said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. Recess rocks, bellowed Clark the Shark. You are playing rough, Clark, cried the other children. Were they afraid of Clark? He was playing a little bit too roughly. Yes, Clark loved his life with all his sharky heart, but he loved everything way too much. He was too wild. He was just too much shark for the other fish to handle, and after a while no one would play with Clark, no one ate lunch with him, no one sat with him at circle time, and even his best friend, Joey Mackerel, said, "Cool your jets, Clark, you're making me crazy." One day, Clark asked Mrs. Inkydink, "What's wrong with everyone?" And Mrs. Inkydink patted his fin. "Clark, sometimes you play too hard. You munch too hard, and gosh, you even help too hard." "But life is so exciting," said Clark. "There's a time and a place for everything," said Mrs. Inkydink, "and sometimes the rule is to stay cool." Stay cool. At recess, Clark tried to stay cool, but he pushed the swing with too much zing. "Sorry," said Clark, "I forgot." "Yikes," cried Joey Mackerel. At lunch, Clark tried to stay cool, but everything smelled so good that he munched a bunch of lunches. "Sorry," said Clark, "I forgot." "Now we're starving," said all his friends. See, Clark ate all their lunch, as well as his own. In class, Clark tried to stay cool, but a good book got him all shook up. "Now, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink, "this isn't the time or the place. Tell me, what's the rule?" "Stay cool," said Clark. "Hey, that rhymes," he cried. "What's the rule? Stay cool." Then Clark got a big idea in his sharky head. "Maybe if I make a rhyme, I'll remember every time," he thought. And the next day he put his plan to work. In class, when the letters got exciting, Clark wanted to bounce up off his seat. Instead, he told himself, "When teacher is talking, don't go walking." Did he remember to stay cool? He did. And what do you know, it worked. "Attaboy, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink, and Clark smiled. Lessons are fun. At lunch, everything smelled so yummy. When Clark wanted to eat and never stop, he told himself, only munch your own lunch. And it worked again. Way to go, Clark, said his friends. And Clark grinned. Lunch is fun. And there he is playing with his friends. At playtime, Clark told himself, easy does it. That's the way. Then my friends will let me play. And playtime was fun once more. Clark loved his life. Does he look happy? He does. But then a shadow fell across the playground. An ginormous shadow with tentacles galore. Can you see it over here? What is that? What do you think that is? It's not an octopus. It's a squid. It's the new kid, and he looks scary, cried Joey Mackerel. Swim for your lives! Well, the squid squashed the slide, and it snapped off the swings. Oops, my bad, said the new kid. Wait, said Clark. He just wants to play. Let's find a way. And he swam at the new kid with all his might. Clark played harder than he ever had before. Upsy-downsy and spin-a-ma-jig. He's playing with the new kid at school. Why, he even made up a new game called Wumpa-Lumpus. Well, that was fun, said the new kid breathlessly as he settled down. If you want to come to school, you've got to stay cool, said Carl. Yeah, Carl is sharing his tip with a new friend, with a squid. He's telling him to be cool. That's right, Clark, said Mrs. Inkydink. And thanks for taking care of our new classmate, said the squid. Sid, the squid, that's his name. Sid. There they are, the new friends. Hooray for Clark the shark! And everyone cheered. There's their school bus. Looks like a submarine. That night, Clark's mother asked, What did you learn at school, dear? And he told her, There's a time and a place for everything. Sometimes you stay cool. But sometimes a shark's gotta do what a shark's gotta do. And that's our story about Shark the Clark. Clark the Shark. And this is a book, another book about sharks. Let's see what this one's about. What are sharks? Sharks are fish. They're a kind of fish. Some sharks grow bigger than a car, and other sharks are the size of an adult's hands. Imagine if a shark was just the size and could swim like that. That would be a really small shark. Some sharks gather in groups called schools. A group of sharks are called a school. Sharks have sharp teeth, and sharks catch fish and other animals for food. Oops. Sharks breathe through gills. Gills are slits on the side of a shark's head. Those are the gills. And fins point out from a shark's body. You see See his fins over here? And this is his tail film. Sharks use their fins to swim, to balance, and to steer them in the water. Sharks glide under the sea. And that's all the information we have about sharks.